Hey everyone, Mr. Sujano here, your source for gaming, tech, emulation, and open source news. Let's get started. Alright, to kick things off, we're talking about decompilation. Now in yesterday's video we talked about how Mario Party 4 had been decompiled. And in today's video we're talking about how Mario Kart 64 has now been decompiled. It seems like there's a new project almost every single week here, and this in my opinion is very impressive and kind of came out of nowhere. Now it is worth noting here there's a difference between decompilation and PC port. Just because something's been decompiled doesn't necessarily mean there's a PC port that exists for it. I'm assuming though, since MK64 has been decompiled, there will be a PC port at some point in time. And this one does say 100% on the GitHub. If you're interested in learning more about it, like everything we talk about, links are in the description below right at the bottom. I don't hide my sources. Now on a side note, if you wanted to track some decompilation efforts on your own or just see what's in the works, you absolutely can. I don't think this site is all encompassing, but there is quite a bit of information here. And there may be some games you may be interested in. I mean, there's a lot of very popular games on here like Animal Crossing, Mario Party 5, Super Mario Sunshine, The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess and Skyward Sword, and even more. So there are quite a few things on here, and there may be some things that surprise you. And speaking about surprising, next up we're talking about something that probably shouldn't be surprising if you're familiar with the game modding scene. So this is being reported over on IGN. Palworld Modders are restoring mechanics Pocket Pair was forced to patch out due to Nintendo and the Pokemon Company's patent lawsuit. Why am I not surprised? I would be surprised though if those mods were not actively taken down. However, at the time of filming here, the mods do appear to be still active. And once something's on the internet, well, good luck in trying to take down every single instance of it. I'm assuming it's going to continually pop up. And I actually don't know if Nintendo can come after this one, considering it's just a mod. And it's not Nintendo specific here, and I think this one may actually be okay. I mean, Nintendo hasn't won the lawsuit yet. They can claim they've got a patent for it, but I mean, at the same time, this is just a game mod. This is a non-profit game mod, so I really don't know here. Anyways, if you are curious about this one and wanted to learn more about it, again, like everything we talk about, links are in the description below at the bottom. Next up, we're talking about Steam, and Steam has just unveiled a brand new feature I think a lot of people are going to be excited about. I, for one, am extremely pumped about this one. And that's a brand new checkmark. So we've currently got a green checkmark on a lot of different Steam store pages to indicate Steam Deck compatibility. And in addition to that, there's going to be a new checkmark that may or may not be displayed based on game compatibility with SteamOS. There's going to be a blue checkmark to indicate SteamOS compatibility. And I, for one, am really excited about this. Now, it's worth noting here that the only device aside from the Steam Deck that's officially running SteamOS is the Lenovo Legion Go S. So this tells me there's going to be way more devices running SteamOS, and I'm very excited about that. Additionally, if you use similar operating systems to SteamOS like Bazite, I think this may be a real good indicator of whether or not a game is going to work well for you or not. And I think it's a real easy way to tell if a game will run well on Linux, just in general. I mean, yes, you can check through Proton, you can check from a bunch of different areas, but I think this may just help streamline certain things for certain people. And speaking about Steam, next up here is a friendly heads up that the Steam Creature Collector Fest is now on. It's from now until May 19th at 10 a.m. And there are some games on discount here you may be interested in, like Palworld. Now, Palworld is not the only big game on sale. There's a bunch of other ones like Digimon World Next Order on for 84% off, Cult of Lamb with an overwhelmingly positive review score on for 50% off, and a bunch of other ones like World of Final Fantasy and Bug Snacks and even more. And continuing to talk about Steam, next up we're talking about an indie game here that has got my attention. If you're a fan of something like Dead Cells or Blasphemous, this may be up your alley. Dare I say Dark Souls. This game is called Dragon is Dead. It's currently in early access, and it's going to be fully released, version 1.0, on June 6th. So with version 1.0 comes the final region and boss battle. It also comes with legendary and mythic gear, new enemies, and even more. This one on Steam currently has a very positive overall review score. I haven't played this one yet, but if you have, let me know your thoughts about it in the comments below and if it's worth picking up. And speaking about picking stuff up, next up we're talking about Fallout, the TV series. Now, this is a little bit interesting, and I know this is a gaming and tech and emulation and open source news channel, but at the same time here, this kind of applies because Fallout is based on the game Fallout. Anyways, here it's being reported that Fallout has been renewed for Season 3 at Prime Video. I find this one kind of crazy given the fact that Season 2 hasn't even premiered yet. It premieres in December. I'm guessing they have very high hopes for this one based on Season 1 and the wrapping of Season 2 filming. Let me know your thoughts about this one. I'm hoping here that Season 2 is successful, or else that's going to be a really big mistake. And speaking about watching stuff and mistakes, next up we're talking about Twitch, and I think this is a mistake because it should have been unveiled way sooner. But it's being reported now that Twitch is testing Live Rewind, and it may be announced at TwitchCon Rotterdam 2025. I think Rewind should have been a part of Twitch for years. I mean, it's a really handy feature to be able to rewind a stream just to rewatch something if you wanted. Hopefully this is real and hopefully this comes about. If you watch Twitch, I'm pretty sure you'll find this feature very useful. Let me know your thoughts about that one. And speaking about watching stuff, next up we're switching to listening to stuff, and you might be excited about this one if you're a fan of gaming music. I know I am. So it's being reported over on Time Extension that Mega Man creator reunites with Harumi Fujita, I might have mispronounced that one, for new album Rockmama. And it's also being reported that David Wise is collaborating on the album. There's going to be about 14 songs on this CD. The digital version is $17 and will be released on June 26th. There will be a physical version that's priced at €20, releasing sometime in July. Pre-orders are up for the physical version of this, and the track list is up as well. You can see some interesting inspired songs like Animal Crossing, The Legend of Zelda, and even more here. And you can even get a taste of one of the songs that's up on YouTube. Let me know your thoughts about this one, but I'm very curious about this one as I want to hear the rest of the tracks. I think this may be pretty good. I mean, Blue Pulse is not too bad at all. And speaking about releasing in June, next up here we're talking about Stellar Blade PC. And the official PlayStation YouTube channel may have had a bit of a whoopsie as they posted the Stellar Blade trailer a little bit early. I think it's since been taken down. Anyways, here it was revealed in the trailer. The game is releasing June 11th on Steam and Epic. We'll have 25 new costumes, new boss battle, man, higher resolution textures, DLSS 4 and FSR 3, Japanese and Chinese voiceovers, multi-frame generation, unlocked frame rate, ultra-wide support, DualSense support, pre-order outfit, and even more. If you are curious about this one, feel free to see the tweet for more information. I mean, once something's posted on the internet, it's really hard to take down copies of that. It's almost like a Hydra in every sense of the word. Anyways, here the trailer is up on a bunch of different areas. And speaking about stuff on Twitter, next up here we're talking about Hogwarts Legacy. And if you're in the market for a Switch 2 and wondering about the Switch 2 upgrade tax for basically Switch-owned games, it seems that Hogwarts Legacy here is going to be about €10 to upgrade it to the Switch 2 version. At this point in time, it seems like pricing is all over the place to upgrade stuff to Switch 2. I mean, I think Undertale is just going to be the exact same price. I think it's a free upgrade to the Switch 2 version, if I'm not mistaken. So you might see some indie games where there's no charge whatsoever. However, you may see some huge charges like $30 or maybe even $40. Who knows here? I just haven't seen any consistency with the prices to upgrade a game to Switch 2. Now, it's worth noting by Undertale, I meant to say Deltarune, but you get what I'm saying here. Deltarune is free for the Switch 2 if you've already got it for the Switch. Either way here, let me know your thoughts about this and the pricing for various games that we know so far, and whether or not you think there's going to be consistency or if it's going to continue to be kind of all over the map. Next up, we're talking about Capcom, and Capcom seems to be doing very well in a very uncertain economy. In an economy where we're seeing a lot of losses for game companies and layoffs and whatnot, Capcom has announced an 8th consecutive year of record results and a 12th consecutive year of operating profit growth. It looks like Monster Hunter Wilds is one of the driving forces behind record profits, and that really shouldn't surprise anyone given the fact that the game is so successful and so popular. Street Fighter 6 is on the list as well as Dragon's Dogma 2. Let me know your thoughts about this one, but I, for one, am really liking the fact that Capcom is still doing well. I do like Capcom games. I mean, most of you all know I'm a huge fan of fighting games. I've been to EVO, I've competed in a bunch of fighting game tournaments. I play a lot, and I mean a lot, of Street Fighter. And one of my favorite games here, if not my favorite game, Capcom vs. SNK 2, is being included in the Capcom Fighting Collection 2, which is set to release in just a couple of days. I'm extremely excited about this collection. I'm probably going to pick it up on day one here. I'm hoping that the ports of these games work very well. I'm hoping that this is a nice tight package and is well executed. I am a little bit concerned, a little bit worried about it, but I'm hoping for the best here. And this is rated as Steam Deck verified, which immediately makes me extremely interested. And speaking about being excited in older games, next up we're talking about Tony Hawk's Underground. Now, when it was announced that Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4 was being remastered and re-released, a lot of people were asking about Tony Hawk's Underground. And it seems here that Tony Hawk is going to campaign all he can to have Tony Hawk's Underground also remastered. However, don't get too excited here because Tony Hawk says, I always have aspirations. It's not up to me generally. I'll campaign all I can, but I'm working with a much bigger company that's a lot smarter than me. I'm assuming here that if Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4 remaster does extremely well, then there may be appetite for remastering something like Underground. And speaking about stuff doing well, next up we're talking about Warner Brothers games. And this is being reported over on Insider Gaming, and this headline kills me. Warner Brothers games revenue fell 48% in Q1 because they have no games. Now, if you remember, back in February, Warner Brothers shut down a bunch of stuff. It was heavily talked about in the gaming industry and heavily talked about, I think on this channel, we did 1 or 2 videos on it. Maybe we didn't, I don't remember. Anyways here, and I could go back to look, I really should. Anyway, they said here, there's a couple of interesting quotes. They made too many recent releases that really missed the mark. And they had to make some very difficult decisions to structure our development studios and investments around building the best games possible with our key franchises. Harry Potter, Mortal Kombat, DC, and Game of Thrones. Now, I'm guessing here they're anticipating, maybe not this big of a dip in revenue, but I'm guessing they were anticipating some dip in revenue as they've canceled a bunch of stuff and maybe tool up to release some good games. Who knows here? Let me know your thoughts on this one. And speaking about stuff not selling well, next up we're talking about the exact opposite. We're talking about the Steam Deck here, and Gaming on Linux is reporting that Steam Deck sales are still going strong over 3 years later because they've been tracking them. And this to me is music to my ears. As you probably already know, if you're familiar with this channel, I love the Steam Deck. It's a very versatile handheld. I think it's amazing. I mean, you can play new games, you can play old games, you can use it as a PC, and it runs Linux. It's such an amazing device. Anyways, this is awesome, and I'm really glad to see the Steam Deck still succeeding. I mean, this to me tells Valve that they should make a Steam Deck 2 and really consider it if they haven't already. I mean, I could be wrong, but I'm assuming they already have a Steam Deck 2 of sorts, a concept in R&D at some stage, and maybe they're just waiting on the next generation of chip to see if it's worth manufacturing. Who knows? I mean, I could speculate all day about that stuff. Anyways, here, this is great news, I think, for the Steam Deck. If you're interested in the Steam Deck, I still think it's worth picking up, even though it came out 3 years ago. And if you've picked up a Steam Deck, let me know your thoughts about it. If you're in the market for a Steam Deck, are you still interested in picking up a Steam Deck knowing it's still selling? Next up, we're talking about Google, and after about 10 years, Google is updating their logo. Now, to be honest with you, I probably wouldn't have noticed this whatsoever unless someone pointed it out. I guess I'm just not that perceptive. But their old logo is on the left here. The new one is on the right. Let me know your thoughts about the differences between the two, which one you prefer, the old one or the new one, or if you would have even have noticed. I'm curious to know how much they spent on redesigning this or just blending the colors. Next up, we're shifting from one big company to another and talking about Samsung, and Samsung has just unveiled the Galaxy S25 Edge. This phone here is priced at basically $1,100. There's 2 different models, one with 256 gigs of storage and one with 512. They're both priced at the same right now, so if you're interested in one of this, it's probably worth picking up the 512 version. Anyways, here this features a Snapdragon 8 Elite CPU. They're not messing around. And on top of that, it's got 12 gigs of RAM. The cameras on this one seem pretty nice here. A 200 megapixel main camera on the back. And there's also a 12 megapixel ultra-wide camera and a 12 megapixel selfie camera. And last up here, we're shifting from another big corporation to another one and talking about Sony. And Sony has announced the new Sony Xperia 1.7. And this one is priced around, I think, $1,600 USD. It also features a Snapdragon 8 Elite chip with 12 gigs of RAM. except this one does have a headphone jack and also expandable storage. As for cameras on this device, there are three. There's two 48 megapixel cameras, there's one 12 megapixel camera on the back, and on the front there's a 12 megapixel selfie camera. I would say overall, it's priced a lot more than the Galaxy S25 Edge, but at the same time, there's expandable storage here and a headphone jack if you are interested in that. Not a whole lot of phones offer this stuff anymore. Or maybe I should rephrase that to say not a whole lot of flagship phones offer that stuff anymore. Anyways, here, let me know your thoughts about the Sony Xperia 1.7 and also the Samsung Galaxy S25 Edge. But anyways, that is all I've got for you in this one. Straight to the point, all stuff and the legendary One Fluff, who is, well, she's just wanting to cuddle right now. Anyways, we talked about a bunch today. Feel free to discuss anything we talked about in the comments below. If you like this video, leave a like. If you didn't like this video, leave a like. Hit that subscribe button. Check out my other videos. Don't tempt fate. Save your state.